Welcome to Up and Adams, powered by Excedrin. They don't pay me a dime, and neither do Lumify eye drops. So that's what we do here on the program. Listen, people, we got a complete playoff picture. What does it all mean? We have everything you need, every angle, every storyline on this Monday. And man of the hour, Nyheim Hines chooses to join us after his stud performance for the Bills yesterday. And how about this? Every game coming up this wild card weekend is a rematch. Is that for the first time ever? I don't know, but I have somebody in studio who probably knows the answer to that question, and more. PFF's Mike Renner in traffic this morning. Will he make it here on time? Head to FanDuel Sportsbook. Put your bets in for that. And we've got it all going on right now. Let's go. Are set. It is raining in LA. Nobody wants to hear about it, but Mike Renner is supposed to be in studio. He is in bumper-to-bumper traffic. We love that kind of thing. It's a live show. We'll see if he makes it in, but we're excited to dig into the numbers with Mike Renner of PFF and see even why he's in LA. I imagine there's a college football game that's important. Couldn't tell you who's playing in that game. Don't know, because I'm focused on the NFL, specifically the NFC as we turn, because I'm going to here's what we do here on the show. We give information, and we're starting in the NFC. Jalen Hurts returns, thank goodness, to help the Eagles wrap it up. You had two shots with Minshew, couldn't get it done, Minshew, but here we go. Jalen Hurts, you get your 1 seed, you get your first round bye with a 22-16 win over the Giants. The Niners, I don't know who's beating the Niners. I guess maybe the Eagles in Philadelphia, but the Niners get their 10th straight win. They lock up the 2 seed, and then thanks to the Detroit Lions, who, could we make some noise for the Lions, please? They're not in the playoffs. Nobody's happy about it. It's not okay. But they are going to be hosting the Seahawks. So it's Niners-Seahawks. That's the Saturday Fox game at 4:30. As we all know, the Niners swept the Seahawks, gave them tons of trouble this season. So things are looking pretty easy-peasy for the Niners and Purdy and company and Kittle, who's a touchdown machine the second half of the season, who was one of our K-makers. We were 3 for 3 again this week. Okay, the Vikings slot into the 3 seed. They host the Giants on Saturday. That is the 4:30 Eastern on Fox game. And the Bucs host the Cowboys, who had a bizarre 26-6 loss to the Sam Howell-led Commanders. Bizarro. And that game will be the Monday nighter on ESPN. And Tom Brady to the Super Bowl. Looks like that's going to happen. Is McCarthy going to survive the first round? As we are watching, of course, for coaches and coaching news around the league on this Monday following the wrap-up to the regular season. Let's take a flip over to the AFC side of things. Here we go. The Chiefs lock in the 1 seed after a first round bye. They win 31-13 over the Raiders on Saturday. The Bills, they're the 2 seed. They knock off New England 35-23. Nyheim Hines on the show today, live on our program, so do not miss that. Josh Allen emotional, talking about that play and how it meant so much to him opening that game up against their AFC East rival. They host the Dolphins, another AFC East rival, on Sunday at 1 p.m. on CBS. It means that if the Bills make it to the AFC title game against KC, it will be at a neutral site, as we all know. Now, the Bengals earn themselves the 3 seed, the 3 spot, and a home playoff game with no coin flip. Hallelujah, after the 27-16 win over a shorthanded Ravens squad. So they see each other again this weekend, and they get the Sunday night treatment on NBC. I heard Tirico and Collinsworth talking about that one. Lots to talk about what's going on with Lamar. And then you look at the Jags, people. The Jags win the AFC South. Congratulations to them. Their mayor hitting me up. I'm sure hitting up Matthew Hamilton, who'll be on our show in a little bit as well. How exciting is that? 20-16. Congratulations to Peterson, to Lawrence and company. What a matchup that'll be with Herbert and Lawrence. That is the Saturday night game, and they'll host the Chargers on NBC. So we do have some coaching news as well, as we keep our eyes peeled on all of that. The Texans, they part ways with Lovie Smith. Tony Dungy with some fire and venom and just Dracarys on the Texans via Twitter. I think it was either last night or this morning, saying, how can you keep going? Who's going to want to coach for you if you keep revolve dooring everybody and not giving anybody a chance to do anything? Because that's back-to-back coaches that they fired after 1 season. They did it to David Culley, of course, last year. Not a good look, Texans, but that's par for the course down there in Houston. Bill Belichick announced this morning he will be back for a 24th season in New England, and all eyes are on Kliff Kingsbury, slated to meet with the Cardinals owner Mike called Bidwill this afternoon. We, of course, saw J.J. Watt play his last game. Emotional. Kliff grabs him, when he was coming off the field, and it's all about that. But it's not really Kliff. The spotlight and the hot seat is on you as you watch to see what the future holds for Arizona, where the Super Bowl will be weeks from now. But let's get to it, people. Sunday night battle in the NFC North, Packers-Lions. It didn't disappoint. Despite knowing you're out, you're eliminated. The Seahawks had an overtime win against the Rams. You have nothing to play for. I brought up this question. Collinsworth brought it up too, and he said this is a stupid question, but does it almost matter more to just get rid of Rodgers and knock him out when you've lost time and time again at Lambeau? They laid it all on the line. And you had players going off in this game, and the Packers are now bounced. Now, Kirby Joseph, what a wizard. And this is, the game-sealing interception from 12 here. He's a magnet, and he kind of comes out of nowhere. He was all over the field. Jamal Williams punched in not one score, but two. He broke Barry Sanders' franchise record, as we all know, finishing the season with a league-leading 17 rushing touchdowns. Jamal Williams, who was on our show, one of our first guests on the Up and Adams program in its inception in this season. And Dan Campbell, what a ballsy performance by him. He pulled out all the stops. He was not afraid. And the real story is here. This is the actual reddest nose that I have ever seen. I don't even, that's absolutely creepy. That reminds me of growing up and watching that on WGN in Chicago. But I think it's redder than that. And then Rudolph's out of work. Rudolph is on Indeed.com uploading a CV and resume. What are we doing here? I was worried about his nose. It looked like CGI high graphics makeup from the Titanic or some sort of Revenant outdoor movie. So look, he got punched in the schnoz. What is going on there with his nose? So that was making its rounds on Twitter. But really, credit to the Lions. It's a shame. It is a shame we don't get to see them in the playoffs. But I'm glad they got their moment, especially this guy.
I'm grateful to be able to play this game for my great-grandfather, and I'm glad that he's looking down on me, and I know I'm making him proud.
You said this ball's for him?
Yeah, this is for him. Another thing, stop playing us, man. We the Detroit Lions. We the Detroit Lions. Stop playing with us. I don't even watch TV, but I heard everybody already picked the Packers over us. Stop playing with us. That's all I gotta say, man. Don't let these tears fool you. It's all dog around this mug. I'm good.
It's all dog around this mug. I saw that live, of course, as we all did. I was delighted. I watched it with the Packers fan who was, upset about it. But how can you not smile about former Packer Jamal there doing his thing? So many touchdowns, so emotional, starts crying. I don't think, Melissa Stark, it didn't look like he was going to start crying, but you could see when she was talking to Jared Goff, who was on his other side, that Jamal was really staring into the distance, and he looked like something was sort of taking a hold of him, lets out some emotion, but then completely flips it to, you guys aren't talking about us. And think about what next season's going to be like. Now they can, take a step forward. And I'm so curious. And it all, of course, depends on what happens with Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers. Are people going to be picking the Lions over the Vikings for the NFC North favorite? What will the expectations be for this team? What kind of moves will they make in the offseason? But what a game by Hutchinson, their new addition. It was incredible. And that's the other part of the story. All the cameras did not go to Jared Goff. They went to Aaron Rodgers, and that was the NBC treatment of the end of this game, right? That's interesting to sort of look at. Rodgers waited 5 seconds after the Packers were eliminated to dump gasoline onto the offseason storyline fire. He did not miss a minute. He was asked for his jersey after the game, and take a listen to what he says.
I got to hold on
He says, I got to hold on to this one. And that, of course, sends Twitter into a absolute spiral, unhinged variety. And it's one of those things where you're like, oh, no, is this his last Packer game? And then you have the NBC cameras following him down the tunnel. He's, mad that they're there. So here we go. Everybody, we're on to another wild offseason that started literally as the game ended on the field with all the speculation on Aaron Rodgers, what will happen to Aaron Rodgers, where he will go. And I'm sure we'll be along for every step of the journey, whatever happens, whenever he wants. But today, as we keep focused on the playoffs, I sort of want to sit back and enjoy the Bengals win for a second. Can we do that? Let's put it into perspective, and there's no better way to do that than to just listen to Zach Taylor do it for us.
First of all, hey, congratulations for winning the AFC North back-to-back. First time in Cincinnati Bengals history. Tied for the most wins in Cincinnati Bengals history with 12. You guys finished off the season the right way. Back after the season, 8-0. That's awesome. No team with better momentum going into the playoffs than what you guys have done.
It's so true, and I don't know that I would say I criticize Zach Taylor, but sometimes I ask to see more from him, some vigor or something, and I always ask players about that, and they say, no, he has it, and then we saw it on Friday, right? You heard Jamal Williams say, what is it, nothing but dog in this mug? That's what the line was? That's what we saw out of Zach Taylor on what was a spicy Friday for this team, and irate Zach Taylor slamming the NFL's decision to change the rules and add in a potential coin flip. His team responded. You saw it on the field, Mixon and company saying, here's what you can do with your coin flip, jumping all over the Ravens early. They hung on to a 27-16 win. Was it in his sock? Where was that coin? Was it in the sock? All right, that seems wildly uncomfortable, but whatever. And there were lots of cigars, and there's the T-shirts, and there's celebrations, of course. But there is I have a bit of a strange feeling after this one because the Bengals are happy they got the win, and so am I, and they've got the home playoff game, and none of it matters. But it wasn't the cleanest performance, and there are a lot of things that need to be corrected and work that needs to be done. And that is something that a similarly turtlenecked Joe Burrow was well aware of after the game.
Yeah, we needed this one to. I mean, if we didn't win this one, I guess technically we would have won the division, but wouldn't have felt like it. So it's good to get this one. We're gonna have to play better next week to get the win, especially me. So it's great to get the win, but on to the next one.
I'm not showing this to take the air out of the room, the balloon, the celebrating, but I want everybody to see it because I love the mindset. Take your time, enjoy the victory, but understand what the ultimate goal is, and that is going to take the Bengals where they need to go. And they don't have it easy. They're going to need to bring their best each and every week, especially as the 3 seed. If you take a look at it, it's not as pretty as you might think. It's division rival Baltimore again this weekend. Never easy. Presumably with Lamar, J.K. Dobbins should be back. Mark Andrews returning. A win, securing a likely date at Buffalo. That's the divisional round. No coin flip, no neutral site in play there, which is still difficult to understand. And then possibly another trip, then to Arrowhead. It's hard to beat a team once, twice, 3 times is really hard to do. It's very hard. But I know that this team, with this quarterback, with the momentum of this 8-game win streak and the chip on their shoulder, they're going to be more than up for the challenge. I feel like they thrive off obstacles like this. They've got it, I think, tougher than anyone. And while it would have been nice to have more home games, I almost wouldn't want it any other way. Blackburn said it best, you got to play us. And it was originally, you got to play us at home, but you got to play us. And so congrats to the Bengals and good luck against those Ravens. Updates on Lamar, Mike Renner up next, and we'll have Matt Hamilton hang out as well. As we transition from the end of the NFL's regular season to the playoffs, let's welcome in Pro Football Focus analyst Mike Renner. Hi. We look like the Packers post-game show.
I was going to say, it looked like they actually won yesterday, but I traveled out to LA with one jacket, and this was it. So.
Are you bummed that they didn't win?
A little. It was kind of just like a microcosm of their year, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, they just missed the opportunities that were there, and they only have themselves to blame. So
I think they just weren't good enough this year. Isn't that kind
that
of
also
what
that,
it is?
Yeah.
You came from where?
Cincinnati.
Why are you here?
For the national championship game.
Okay,
tonight.
so you're going?
Going to the national championship game tonight, Georgia TCU.
And you're just going for a PFF vibes?
Yes,
or?
yeah, just for.
Do you always get to do that? I have no idea.
I went last year, yeah. Our producer here, Dave Safari, hooks it up.
Hi, Dave. Dave's taking pictures. Dave, I have to approve pictures before you post them. I'll be not happy about that. So I don't know you. I forgot you were coming in studio. I was so excited because we've met over Skype before, but never. Long story short, don't have heat in my house right now. So I ran in to change this morning. I didn't sleep at my house. And I go, I'm going to just wear sweatpants to work because I'm literally wearing sweatpants. And I'm in my car and I realized, we have I had like flip-flops on. And I was like, we have a guest in studio. I ran back in to put on boots. So sorry I look like this, everybody. But you also ran into traffic in this ridiculous LA LA situation. Are you okay?
It's been pretty brutal. It's my first actual experience with LA traffic, and it lived up to the hype. But I did want to say I'm glad I'm in person. The first time we actually ever met, because
I know, I'm excited.
I've felt bad ever since the first time I was ever on GMFB with you. I signed off by saying, "Thanks, fellas," and you did not take that well.
I didn't like
that's
it.
just my I was obviously nervous doing national TV, and that was that's just my go-to sign off on radio hits and stuff. And as soon as
Are
I
you
said,
sure?
I'm like, oh no.
How do you know I wasn't happy about it?
Well, you said he's a very nice fella after.
I did on the air. I think I do remember that. Oh, I'm sorry,
So I
Renner. But now you're here, and we're here to talk about this playoff picture. They just said in my ear, people don't forget. I forgot, so whatever. Okay, let's talk about the Eagles. Let's look at the NFC here. They lock up the 1 seed. They win over the Giants. Jalen Hurts is back. What is your assessment on what you saw yesterday?
It wasn't good. That was the lowest graded game that he has played all season. But it's good that he got it out the way, right? And that was why it was so big for him to play in the regular season, come back and get one game healthy, because if he had gone a whole month without playing with a shoulder injury, that's what we could have saw the first playoff game. So I'm not too worried. 2 more weeks from now, I think he'll bounce back and be completely healthy and fine. But that was not, vintage. That was not, the guy who was in the MVP conversation a few weeks ago.
I keep looking at the NFC, and I'm thinking, Niners, such a brilliant path.
Yeah.
And what's going to stop them? But I look at the Eagles team and I say it has to be them. But is there anything that you're worried about with the Eagles team when it comes to what they've done, losing 2 of their final games, injuries at key positions?
That's it. It's Lane Johnson, right? I think that's the biggest worry for me, is that kind of look at this Eagles offense, why they're so successful was they could just rely on that offensive line. They get 5 out in a route every single time. And so when you don't have to worry and you don't have to scheme around that offensive line, it just opens up everything as a play caller. But now all of a sudden they might be going into, they might have the Cowboys coming to town with Micah Parsons going up against possibly a backup right tackle. And now you have to scheme around that. So it kind of just changes your whole offense. So that's probably what I'm most worried about, is that coming back to haunt them. But Lane Johnson obviously could play. That is possible, but that's where my head's at right now.
Friend of the show, Lane Johnson. Guys, tweet your questions. You guys can also download the PFF app. How's that gone this year, the PFF app? It's incredible. It was new, and it was really helpful in winning people fantasy championships. And when I picked K-Makers, and I'm on a heater right now, I've got 6 in a row. I'm 6 of 6. I use your data. So the PFF product is amazing.
I like to think so, but I'm obviously a little biased in that, so.
Just a little. Okay, then we got the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, gosh. I mean, they fall to the Commanders. It looked about as sloppy as it could look. What is your concern level? I think they're going to get crushed in Tampa by Tampa. I do.
I think the concern level is that Tom Brady team of destiny is standing in your way. That's the concern right there. And they're a defensive team, the Bucs. So we saw this play out week 1. They scored 3 points. That was Dak's worst game of the year. So I am definitely concerned with this Cowboys team, but the talent's there. The pieces are there. If we're just going straight talent perspective, they're right up there with the Eagles, with the 49ers in the NFC. But just for some reason, it just doesn't feel like they're hitting their stride come playoff time.
How do you account for team of destiny with PFF? And I mean that, no, but I mean that sort of truly, because you guys are numbers, algorithms, deep analytics. And then there's this eye test and feeling test and vibe check that also you have to account for. Yeah,
I do think you can. The analytics does not account for it well. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
I do think that is probably a shortcoming, is how they're faring right now. But it is something that just probably doesn't get accounted for in the data that does matter more in real life than the numbers would say.
Brock Purdy. I'm a very cautious grandma lady. I don't like the new shiny thing. I'm no, I'm not buying in. Really hard to not buy into what he's doing. The connection he has with George Kittle is brilliant. They've won 10 straight, 6 of those with Brock. Is it Purdy? Is it Shanahan? What is it? And what do the numbers say about Brock?
It's a combination of both. And the numbers say that he has been fantastic, accurate, poised. I think this is not a fluke, what we're seeing with him. And I say it's both because Brock Purdy's shortcomings were obvious coming out, I would say. He's got kind of a noodle for an arm. And in terms of arm strength, he's one of the lower among stars in the NFL, if not the lowest. But Kyle Shanahan's offense is so tailor-made to not expose that. It works in the middle of the field. It's short, quick, underneath passes, timing. And that's what Brock Purdy does. Coming out in the draft last year, I did superlatives for all these quarterbacks, and Purdy's was he won the best pocket presence of any. I thought he had the best pocket presence of any quarterback. And so you're seeing that. He's playing behind an offensive line that's maybe not great, but making throws under pressure, making plays when things go south. And that's what you need come playoff time. So I do think maybe there are still some rookie mistakes in there, and we've seen that. I think he has a top 3 turnover-worthy play rate this season among all quarterbacks. But he's making the throws that are making up for that. So I'm buying, and because the roster's so good that you almost have to buy it this
So
way.
have we seen him in any big moments? Like when he has to go out there and make the play that Garoppolo can or can't make?
He's almost like he doesn't know what he doesn't know at this point, where he doesn't know that the moment's too big for him because he's a 7th round. He wasn't supposed to be doing this anyway, so it's all icing on the cake at this point.
People are right now this morning trying to find their contender. They're trying to pick their Super Bowl match. Is it wise to pick the Niners?
I think so.
Yeah.
You just take the quarterback position away, and now there's no real, I'd say, like elite surefire. Like Tom Brady's not Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers obviously isn't in the mix. It's not like the AFC where you're going to have to go through a gauntlet of quarterbacks to get to the Super Bowl. You may not in the NFC. You may not face a great offense. So when you have the playmakers they do, you just need a facilitator at quarterback, and that's all Purdy's been.
PFF app, also just PFF.com, wherever you guys go, you can follow them on Twitter and socials as well. What team in the AFC playing Wild Card Weekend is most statistically poised to make a run? Let's start in the AFC.
It's the Bills. There is, and it's really the AFC right now. It's Chiefs, Bills, Bengals. They are the top 3 in the PFF power rankings, and it is not even close after that. Like the next team, so the PFF power rankings basically sort teams or assign a number to teams that is the points that they would be favored on a neutral site against a theoretically average team. Bills are at 8.8. Bengals are at 7.2. The next best team in the AFC right now, the Baltimore Ravens, is at 1.6. So they are far. So those two teams would be favored, with the PFF data saying by 5+ points against the next best team in the AFC. So it really is a clear tier. That's why it's been so hotly debated what the NFL's done with changing the playoff format, because it's like it is going to be one of those 3 teams. It is. Is
it so impressive that it's the Chiefs without Tyreek and then you lose Von Miller with the Bills? Like, did the grades go down and the numbers go down severely? Before the Chiefs season, the numbers had to go way down without Tyreek, and then you lose Von Miller and you don't lose a beat with this Bills squad.
Yeah, if you look at, I got the Packers shirt on here, you look at what they've done without Devontae, and it's like the offense completely went in the tank, whereas the Chiefs have almost flipped the script without Tyreek Hill. It's far more diverse. Patrick Mahomes is running the offense even more than he was before, and it's gone to another level entirely. So this is the best season we've seen from Mahomes since 2019 at this point, and I think he's probably the runaway MVP. And for the Bills, I do think the Von Miller loss has been a much bigger for them. Like, Greg Rousseau has been great, but it's like when you have Greg Rousseau and Von Miller, we saw them dominate offensive lines when those two guys were fully healthy. Now it's just like still a very good defense, still not a lot of holes, but just that level of dominance could come back to bite when you have to face someone like a Joe Burrow or Pat Mahomes.
You're a Cincinnati guy. I love these Bengals. We're talking about injuries, missing pieces. Lyle Collins, should I be really worried?
Well, not super worried because it's not like Lyle Collins is playing all that great to begin with.
Okay.
But I do think that that's where the area they can get exposed is that right tackle position, Hakeem Adeniji. And now I thought he played better this past week than he did the very first time we saw him in Week 17, but that's still something that if you are facing a Greg Rousseau or facing an elite pass rusher,
doesn't work very well.
You're going to have to account for it.
Okay, before we let you go, the Texans 32-31 over the Colts, and this is, you're the lead draft analyst. This is something I'm going to rely on you heavily for because, like I said, I don't even know who's playing tonight. I don't dig into that after the season's over. The Texans, they had the number 1 overall pick, and then, Lovie Smith almost coaching like he knew it was his last game as he parts ways with Houston. They score on 4th and 20. They convert the 2-point conversion for the win, and they sort of hand his old team the Bears the number 1 pick. Did they do the right thing going for the win there?
No. I mean, wholesale, no.
Stop.
You go back to I guess it was 2020. Jets, end of the season. Beat the Browns, beat the Rams. That's the reason they don't have Trevor Lawrence right now. Texans could be in a very similar spot with Bryce Young. I'm not putting Bryce Young at that caliber of prospect, but he's definitely one of the better quarterbacks. He's quarterback prospects we've seen kind of the annals of NFL history. Like, he is a stud. He's a guy that's going to come in day one and be a playmaker for you. That's my watch. Answers my question.
Hi, hello.
But
did Houston do the wrong thing? Yes. Okay.
That's what it's saying. They I just think they did, and we're going to go back and analyze the situation a bunch.
But can't Houston just trade up and get?
They could.
Chicago's set,
But they're going to have to now compete with the Colts, who are sitting at number 4, and I think the Colts have a little bit more desperation at this point to go up and get him at number 1.
Either way, Chicago's sitting pretty, right?
Yeah, Chicago's in the driver's seat.
McCaskey yesterday reportedly had a Yeti cooler. and he was handing out ice cream sandwiches. That's not hyperbole. That's a real thing. He was doing that because I think he feels good about being able to change. I really think that Chicago thinks they have the right pieces in place and the right guys to make the right decisions, that they're going to come out on top having this #1 pick.
Well,
but there's no way they're drafting a quarterback.
The season could not have gone better for them. It's like Justin Fields proved that he is.
Okay. One man's opinion.
Considering
wearing a Packers Mitchell and Ness throwback.
Considering like where you were as a franchise.
Yeah.
Right? Like you knew this, you weren't making the playoffs this year. You knew you weren't winning a Super Bowl this year. And so when that's the case, it was basically about Justin Fields proving he's the guy. And I think unequivocally, what you've seen is that's a yes. He is going to be your quarterback for the long term. And so you have your quarterback. Now you have the #1 overall pick where you can get a bunch of picks back to build this roster, and you have the most space, cap space of anyone in the NFL. Like Ryan Poles is a kid in a candy shop.
Right.
This could be a team that's completely different next year and built to succeed in the long term because you can basically build it from scratch. So, yeah.
Is it Bryce Young and everybody else?
I think there's a clear tier in terms of certainty, but it is a very good quarterback class. I'm not saying that C.J. Stroud can't be, a Pro Bowler in the NFL. I'm not saying
because Young's coming off a sort of a down year.
Down comparatively from, Heisman high. Then you lose.
Look, I kind of knew something there. It's great.
Yeah.
I read a headline.
And he got hurt also in midseason, but he is what he's done and what he did to like Georgia last year, which was an NFL defense. I just don't think you can fake that.
What sets him apart?
The playmaking. He is a guy that, and it's what everyone's looking for, that it's going to get them a Mahomes, whatever, but he can work within structure, but then when it's not there, he's very escapable, and his throws and his plays he makes outside the pocket are insane. I mean, he is just, and somehow still plays with like a chip on his shoulder, even though he was like a 5-star Alabama and like always been the guy. He just thinks he's an underdog.
So imagine watching this game if you're him yesterday. These games play out. Isn't that insane?
Yeah. Just your future getting decided by a 2-point conversion.
Which is crazy. And now Lovie's gone. Other coaches, of course, were watching the hot seat for them. Renner, we appreciate you. Will you be my lead draft analyst since I don't know anything? Okay, Renner. Renner's actually staying here. You enjoyed the game. We'll have him. We're going to put him to work here, and we're going to take a break here because we have Nyheim Hines on the show, which I cannot believe we even get to talk to him today after he was a stud. The man of the hour, Buffalo Bills superstar, on after this. Do not go anywhere. And that's why I wore my sweatpants, my special sweatpants.
I cannot wait to see the Nyheim Hines breakout game. Like, I know they're easy to win, just a few touches on offense so far. What is the plan, and when is that game coming?
I don't really know the plan. I know that they're trying to get me going, and I want to come here and have 10, 15, 20 touches on offense, but it doesn't work like that. I have to know what I'm doing. I have to earn those guys' trust. And that's really where I'm at. I've had to play special teams and do some things I've never done before, but that's what it takes sometimes to get to where you want to be and what it takes to be great.
That was the 1st of December. Well, safe to say he had that breakout game all right. Nyheim Hines had 2, not 1. Oh, my God. 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns yesterday against the Patriots to secure their 2 seed. One of those was the very first play of the game. It felt like fate. It felt like that was scored for his teammate, Damar Hamlin. So joining us now, so honored to have Nyheim Hines back on the show.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Nyheim, how are you feeling?
I'm still on cloud 9. Yesterday was a great day, and it wasn't just a great day for me, but it was a great day just for the whole city of Buffalo. And all the support we've gotten over this past week has been amazing. So it was a very, very spirited game from us yesterday, but I'm so happy.
Thankfully, Damar Hamlin is on the road to recovery. We were hearing good things, but I know this week was undoubtedly tough for you and the team. And I know you guys got to FaceTime Damar this week leading up to the action. He gave some words of encouragement from the hospital. So what were the emotions like in that Sean McDermott-led locker room before you even took the field?
There was a lot of emotions. It's sad to see what happened to our brother, but, hearing him talk, hearing his voice, seeing the recovery, it made a situation a lot less lighthearted, and it was a lot easier for us to go out there and play. And we knew when we heard his voice, and we knew that we had to go out there for him, and that's what he wanted us to do and carry on. So it was a tough week, but as the week progressed, it was just better as we got better news. So we're just thankful for his condition, and we're thankful for all the prayers.
What was McDermott's message, or what was his energy like before the game?
It was great. It was emotional, but he just kind of told us, be there for your brother, take care of each other, and let's keep the main thing, and that's what we want. So we were really honored to play for him and have that patch on our jersey. We were honored to go out there in front of those fans who prayed for us and supported us through hard times, and it was just great to go out there. It was an electric atmosphere. I don't think I've been in an atmosphere like that.
And it was so incredible, and the energy. you know, Josh Allen spoke to it as well. We'll show you that in a second. I'm sure you saw it already. But for those of us watching at home, it was like watching a movie, like a storybook moment during that kickoff. We're going to play it, and I want you to take me through the entire first play, and I want everything. I want everything from the moment before the ball was kicked to you running into the end zone. Go.
Okay. Well, right here, I can just hear the crowd. I can just hear everybody cheering. I can hear the emotion. I'm just thinking, all right, let's give them something to cheer about. I see it. I have great blockers. Just follow the guys, and I just see them bounce. So I got right about there. I knew it was myself and the other guy, and I had to beat him there. And I knew at the 40 I was gone. So it was great. I just saw the fans running. It just felt like a movie, honestly, like you said, and just jumped into the crowd. I just knew that those guys who I've been there with so long have told me they're going to get me free. And ever since day one, they've been there blocking for me, a punt return, kick return, by my side, no matter what decision I make. And it's just really magical to see the brotherhood I have with that team and just the whole city. It was just, like you said, a movie. I'm really speechless. It's really a magical moment, honestly.
What happened when you got back to the sideline? What was that like?
Honestly, can't even remember. It was honestly just so shocking. I couldn't even believe it myself. It was, like you said, it was something that you couldn't even script, honestly. And there's no emotion to really describe it. And there's just emotions that you can't really put to words. Words can't describe how I felt and how that whole team felt. But it was just, you could just see on the sideline, like look at Coach McDermott. We all just have so much excitement, energy. It's like, honestly, it's like some burdens and weights are being lifted off our chests. We're so excited. Like, you know, this is our first time playing through a traumatic event. There's been things that, you know, there's guys who were traumatized or things that happened. There was things that we had to overcome emotionally, all of us, and we had to be there for each other. So it was really just, honestly, a magical moment, and words can't describe it.
It felt like fate. You're saying there aren't words to describe it. Your quarterback, who we just saw there celebrating after it happened, he tried to use his words after the game. Take a listen.
I can't remember a play that touched me like that, I don't think, in my life. So it's probably number one. It was just spiritual, and I was going around and I was going around my team and saying, God's real. Like, you can't draw that one up, write that one up any better. And I was just told by Kevin Curran, it's been 3 years and 3 months. Since the last kickoff return, so it's pretty cool.
3 years and 3 months in the last kickoff return. What do you make of that?
Like you said, God is real. That's nothing but God, and I'm just thankful that He was able to use my talents to, you know, just help give a spark to that community and where we play and work so hard. And that's my quarterback. That's why we love him. That's why we go out there and we play for him. We risk everything for him. He's a great leader. He's an even better brother. And we all love each other in the locker room. We talk about family, but there we really mean it. And I felt it in my short time there that we're really together.
How did he handle this week? Like, what words would you use to describe Josh Allen, who's been so emotional, but obviously a leader that you guys respect the hell out of?
Honestly, he's just been himself. He's laughed and joked, but he honestly just been the main guy for advocating, hey, guys, just say what you feel. Even Coach McDermott throughout the week, he said, if we need a minute, just take a minute. So I think Sean was just really our big Sean and also Josh are our big vocal leaders for just saying it's okay to say you're not okay. And we even met up at Josh's house last week and had prayers for DeMar, and a lot of guys showed up. So it was great, but we really were praying through this together, literally. And like there was a lot of weight and emotion lifted off our shoulders yesterday, and it was good to go out there and just play for DeMar.
Is it like a collective thing that you guys are just like, where can we do this? We want to pray. We want to get together. Is there a team chaplain that's organizing that? Or is that Josh texting everybody and saying, come over to my house right now?
Josh texted us one time, and then we also have a team chaplain, and we've had some other people come in and reach out to us. But I know Josh definitely reached out to us on Monday, and a lot of guys showed up. So it's been great, and he was a great leader, and couldn't ask to be with that through a better team, honestly. And all these things that we went through, the snowstorms, the blizzards, since I've been here and now DeMar, it's making us stronger to make us get ready to do what we need to do because the mission starts now. And now we're looking at Sunday and who we have to play.
It's making you guys unstoppable is what it looks like. It really does out there. And then, so this happens, opening drive, or like opening play, opening seconds. You had to run another one back?
I don't know. It's not my first rodeo, so I guess with things with me, with returns, they come in twos. It seems. Just thankful.
Yeah. Well, listen. And one of the craziest stats I've heard in a while. You've had 2 career punt returns, 4 touchdowns, both being in the same game, up against who?
The Carolina Panthers.
Yes, and this, yeah.
The home team.
And Polarity's on the Panthers. You are on the Colts. You've had 2 career kickoff returns for touchdowns, 2 in the same game up against the same guy on the Pats this time. So what kind of tape on this guy are you watching?
Well, see, you know what? Honestly, I've known this. You know, Polarity does punts, but he's we had a whole other guy doing kickoffs, but I've been waiting for somebody in the media to put 2 and 2 together because I've known this the whole time. But that's why you're awesome and you're amazing at what you do. But I don't know. I guess it's something about him, and he's magical. But also, he's a good friend of mine. Throughout the years, we've been great friends. So I don't know. It's something about it, and for whatever reason, around this time of the year, and I guess he just has to be there. He doesn't have to kick me the ball, but I guess just I don't know. I can't describe it. It's just amazing how it just happens. That's just one of the weirder things I've ever heard or seen in my life, honestly.
How do you stay friends with him? I'm going to repeat the stat for those of you who weren't paying attention. Same game up against Michael Polarity when he was on the Panthers and you were on the Colts. You've had 2 career kickoff returns for touchdowns, 2 in the same game against Michael Polarity on the Pats. What do you mean y'all are friends?
See, but it's different this time. No, it's different
friends.
This time. He didn't kick me. Look, he didn't kick me the ball. And also, too, it's just a different brotherhood and band as specialists like punters, punt returners, guys who do kickoffs. Honestly, even in Charlotte, North Carolina, where we work out, a lot of guys get together. It's really an art. Catching punts or art. Like hearing all those guys, like even my guy in Indianapolis, Rigoberto Sanchez, you learn like a lot about punters from punters. They talk to you about kicks. And honestly, like even Sam Martin on my team, I go talk to him before every punt return. He talks to him about the win. It's an art. So like even throughout the time when you're in that profession, there's only but so many punt returners and so many punters. You meet them all and you all meet somebody that knows somebody. And honestly, just hearing how they kick has made me a better returner. And it's vice versa for me. I tell them things I don't like. So it's kind of like a great network.
And Sam Martin new to that team as well. So that, you know, you guys have that camaraderie as well.
He's been instrumental. He's been instrumental with me. He's been in Buffalo. He's helped me with which way the stadium with the winds, like different ways, the wind blows different types of ways. He always tells me every game how it is. So love Sam Martin. He's been a really big help for me this year.
Broncos out. His other former team, the Lions, great season, but out. Colts out with a capital O, and you are in it as the 2 seed in the AFC. And this is your second playoff game, if I think I did the math right. Your second one in Buffalo.
Third.
No, I know, but in Buffalo.
Yeah, second one in Buffalo? Oh, yeah.
But it's your first, you know, as a Buffalo Bill. The other game, you were a Colt. So you're the Dolphins. You're walking in there. How difficult is it to play in that building, your experience as a visitor, when you have that playoff atmosphere going, and then add on what's going on with that team this year?
Oh, I mean, I remember Indy. I remember being there in Indy. It was tough. It was a tough environment. We came during COVID. And I remember that was the first game that they had fans. And I think it was 6,000 or 7,000 fans. Whatever the number was, it was a lot because it was way louder than that. I could barely hear for a little bit. All I could do was imagine hearing that playoff atmosphere for full capacity. So, honestly, I'm happy that this weekend I can experience that on a good team and guys cheering for me because I remember how loud it was and how difficult it was for me to hear with 7,000 people. So, I know, I thought about the weather a little bit going up there and thought about the winds as a punt returner. And then I thought about the crowd. And Bills Mafia is one of the best crowds in the NFL and the best fan base in the NFL. So I know it's going to be a tough place to play, and I know they're going to be ready there to bring the juice.
You know what? I'm just happy, Nyheim. I'm happy that I see a house plant in your background because last time you and I talked, it was December 1, and you had nothing. You had just moved. You're living out of boxes. I see there's a sign of life in there, and I'm very happy for you.
Yeah, finally, it's my dinner table back there. So, yeah, I'm finally getting things together.
And if you look at it, last time we talked, you were adjusting. You were still adjusting from that trade from the Colts to Buffalo. You were still learning the playbook. You were talking about, like, maybe, I'm like, can y'all give him some touches? Can we get this going? And then it did. So how are you feeling as a true Bills member? And how is the fan base reacting? Just, speak to that a little bit before we let you go.
Well, it's been great. Bills Mafia has been great since day one, since I've been here. The guys have been great. It's been a tough transition, obviously being somewhere 5 years and having to learn a whole new system in the middle of the year and kind of getting thrown into the fire. But I credit my teammates and my coaches and everybody is always checking in on me, asking me how they can help me. And that's really what's gotten me going and kept me going this far. And without my teammates and that family in that locker room, I wouldn't be where I am. So I'm thankful for that. You just see all the love I'm getting and it takes a village to make it. So I'm just happy for them boys in that locker room and just everybody believing in me so far.
Now, you talked about this home field advantage, what it means. You've played against it. Now you get to sort of ride the wave with it. What a big deal it is. The AFC Championship game, it could be y'all and the Chiefs. It looks like it might be. And that would be at a neutral site. So how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I heard about the neutral site last night. That's interesting. I mean, I guess the weather won't be a problem because it seems like they'll be indoors. But honestly, that's cool and all. But we're focused on the mission starts now. We got to focus on this week, and we're not even thinking about next week. We're thinking about Miami at 1 o'clock on Sunday. So I'll love to hear it and think about it. But it doesn't matter if we don't handle business this week, and that's what we're focused on, handling business.
Like a true professional, Nyheim Hines there on that topic of the neutral site and the potential difference it'll make in an AFC Championship down the line. Y'all have to beat the Dolphins first here at Wild Card Weekend. After the game, anything from Damar Hamlin? Any correspondence?
Oh yeah. I actually talked to him on the phone. Just told him it was for me. It was from me to him, and. Honestly, he's been a backup on special teams. He's been out there and he's practiced with me and been there. And he's one of the guys every day that tells me I'm going to break one. And he says free Hines a lot. So, I think it was special. And, it's just like you can't script it any better. And it's just amazing. And honestly, I've been just so blessed and honored. And just hearing, just making him happy is making me happy, man. It's happy. And I'm hoping that just not through a game of football that I can help my brothers and, ignite my brothers, but also just bring some happiness to a community in Buffalo that's been through a lot this year. And that's really what I plan to do because it's a lot bigger than me. It's about this whole community, and it's a lot bigger than just the game of football.
And I think Damar was one of the first teammates to sort of welcome you into that locker room. Is that right?
Yes, he was. Actually, I remember when I first got there, I had my meetings. I'm walking around, don't know anything. And the first thing I did, I remember I always sit in the whirlpools. A lot of guys there would sit in the whirlpools. And I remember him coming in immediately and be like, hey, I'm D-Ham. And just from then on, I've always talked to him every day, asked him how he was. Actually figured out I played against him in college at Pitt, so we always chat about that a little bit. And, I obviously don't know him as well as all the other guys do, but just seeing the impact he's made on this world through what's happened to him and all the people who've spoken to him speak so highly of him, the type of man he is. And, that's the type of guy I want to be within the locker room. And that's why everybody loves him so much, and that's why he's had the impact he's had.
And you did it for D-Ham. That's what you did. And everybody and all the love for 3. And I hope it keeps carrying you. You did that, and you did one of these. And I love that you got to talk to him on the phone and that you really did it for him. And Nyheim Hines, I could not be happier for you. It's like a storybook and fate and God, like you said, which I think is so important to keep talking about as we move forward in the playoffs. Good luck to you. Break another one off. Run 3 back. Hell, I don't even know what
I'm trying my hardest.
We are keeping you in our thoughts. We're keeping Damar and the city of Buffalo in our thoughts as well. So keep doing it for Damar, Nyheim.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on.
Having me, I'm honored that you're coming on. Come on. You could be everywhere this morning. You are the man of the hour. And
I'm about to play rock band.
What did you say? You're going to go play rock band?
I said, I'm about to go play rock band. I'm looking at my drum set right now.
Who's playing rock band? Eat some breakfast
and have rock band. Look, it's a great thing to do. I get to play some Paramore, play a lot of different music, and keeps me active, gets my legs moving. It's fun.
What? What a 2008 call, and like what are you talking about? I didn't think
I promise you. Look, see, but you're saying all this, but everybody reminisces their rock band day.
Okay,
you probably have a moment, like where you were like, "Oh, I remember playing Guitar Hero 3 or whatever it was."
Everybody played the game. Go-to song?
Arabella by the Arctic Monkeys.
What is it?
Arabella by Arctic Monkeys, or any Paramore song. I love Paramore, so.
Can we hear a little Arabella back there? Can I get the control of a little Arabella? Is this just you? It's just you playing by yourself?
I'm playing with a friend of mine.
Okay.
One of my good friends from back home, Brandon.
I had no idea that this is something that you did, and I love this so much. I'm sorry, my controller has questions.
Actually, we're gonna.
Hold on. Go ahead. So what were you gonna say? Go ahead. No, you, Nyheim.
Oh. Well, actually, I mean. Honestly, it's been something I've been thinking about, and I think I'm actually going to do something throughout the community and hopefully get some fans together and do that. I'm going to set that in motion. Been thinking about it, so just hopefully another way just to bond with the community, and that's one thing I've been doing, just playing rock band. And honestly, I've asked for some guitars over Twitter, and just I'm actually about to give away a drum set. So it's been interesting seeing all the interactions just from me asking for a guitar to play for myself, and just seeing all the interactions. I think it's a good way to interact with the fans.
I love that. And maybe could you rope Josh Allen in? Can I hear Arabella on the speaks? Do we have the song? Can we have it? I would love to hear it. Oh, we don't have it. Can I get some Paramore? special request? Can we do that?
Let's see. What song would I play?
My question for
Crush,
you.
Crush, Crush.
Oh, I just think it's you, Josh Allen, and Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. Isn't that the key to this whole thing, Hines? You and Josh Allen, rookie premiere.
Will you shake it off?
That was the thing that led to
man.
the destined Super Bowl that you're about to go to, don't you think?
Well, I guess now thinking about it, I was on the Bills. I never thought I would be here. I guess it was meant to be.
We'll see.
I guess it was just meant to be.
Okay,
Hopefully.
water that
We'll see.
plant. Go do your thing with Brandon from home, playing Arabella, which I can't get anybody to play for me. And we're sorry for the how this spiraled out of control the last couple of minutes, but I could barely hear you. But you were the best, and we appreciate you. And whatever it takes, I might start playing Rock Band if it means that I can just be the star of the day every day of my life, Mr. Hines.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. We appreciate you. We'll talk to you down the line. Of course, potential Super Bowl champion, but they're headed towards Wild Card Weekend against the Dolphins. We've got more after this on Up and Adams. Wrapping it up with some breaking news. I started the show saying keep your eyes on this. There was a meeting that was going to be had between Bidwill and Kliff Kingsbury. Chef D reporting that the coach has been fired. He 10 months ago, of course, signed a contract extension. So did Steve Keim. They both signed him back in March of 2022. They run through the 2027 season. Kingsbury 28-37-1, 4 seasons as head coach. Let's bring in Matthew Hamilton here. I do believe just one playoff appearance for the coach. Heavily scrutinized, long leash, I think, given all the talent on that roster and how competitive they should have been in the West, if not the NFC as a whole. Your thoughts here? Not surprising, truly.
Yeah, I'm not totally shocked, although they did. Remember, they gave extensions to Kliff Kingsbury, Steve Keim, and Kyler Murray in the offseason. Keim has taken a leave of absence for a little bit. And obviously now, this news with Kingsbury, I think you knew something had to change. It's almost impossible to get out of the quarterback contract with Kyler Murray, especially given his injury. The other solution is you get rid of your head coach, and that's what the Cardinals ultimately decided they had to do. And hopefully the next guy can get the most out of Kyler.
And now it's going to be, is it Sean Payton that can certainly get a lot out of Kyler? Do they have enough draft capital to make that an alluring job for him? Jim Harbaugh wants back in the league, apparently. We'll be back.